the first week of the preseason like rookie watch because it's important for them to get snaps. It's important for them to define their roles within the team, and coaches can get good eyeballs on these guys. So let's go around the table and name the rookie that we are most excited to watch this season. Akbar, the man in my head tells me that you have to go first.
Oh, well, I will tell you first off, it is hands down Xavier Worthy. I am so excited to see what he's going to do. I don't even know that we're going to even see that much of him as far as like big plays, explosive plays during the preseason. I have this feeling that they're going to kind of try to hold him back so we don't know what to expect from him during the season. I think the very first time we're going to see his speed, his excellence is probably going to be in that game against the Baltimore Ravens. Look, I mean, there's been so much buzz coming out of training camp. You have the best quarterback in the league throwing to the fastest player in the league. Just think back to all of the explosive plays Tyreek Hill had for the Kansas City Chiefs. I think he has the same ability to bring that same type of power, that diversity, that explosion, those big explosive plays. Xavier Worthy is going to be the one to watch. I just want to see what he moves like out there, how he runs his routes, what kind of different areas they utilize him in, but I'm sure that they're going to probably put him in multiple positions too.
I do think it's an interesting point that they won't open him up too much because they want to hide back what he is capable of. At some point, you do have to practice like live timing though with Patrick Mahomes, I would think.
Yeah, you want to see that, and they have a lot of speed offensively. But I'm gonna see that, and I'm gonna raise it up just a little bit.
Okay.
I'm gonna go over to the Atlanta Falcons, and I'm gonna look at my man Michael Penix Jr. And that's not just because I was a former Washington quarterback, and he's now a former Washington quarterback. It's all about the fact that he is a complete beast, and he's a one heck of a passer. By the way, he was drafted top 10, right?
Yeah.
And then they went ahead and gave Kirk Cousins prior to that $180 million. So if Michael Penix Jr. goes out there and does even remotely similar to what he did in college, there might be a little quarterback controversy.
Oh,
that. So
you're a homer. You're a homer.
They gave Kirk Cousins the bag, but the thing is, this dude is a bona fide passer. He's been one of the best passers in college football over the past few years, and this dude can make all the throws. So if he goes out there and shows out, I think Kirk Cousins might be a little bit uncomfortable.
Isaiah, you say everything with such a smile on your face, but you just lied to the people. That's
Yes.
absolutely why you just picked Michael Penix Jr.
Homer.
What are we doing? What's funny about what Isaiah is saying is that with the Kirk Cousins, Michael Penix Jr. thing, from a personality standpoint, those two are fairly similar, in my opinion. Knowing Kirk Cousins coming from Minnesota and then getting to know Michael Penix Jr. in the draft process, these two likable, big smiles, nice guys that are going to lead in the room and welcome everybody in, big hugs, yet now they're competing at some point. It's kind of crazy. Peter, you got a rookie that we want to keep an eye on?
Yeah, I'm looking over in Philadelphia where defensive back has been a nightmare for them the past couple of seasons, and they drafted one out of the MAC conference in the first round. He was the first defensive back off the board. I'm looking at Quinyon Mitchell for the Eagles. A lot of talk in camp how he's been running his mouth a little bit and has been having some bite and some bark, which I love. The Eagles' defensive backfield has been much maligned over the last couple of years. We hear about it in, of course, the Philly media, but if you read any of those crossing broad like type of websites or Twitter thing, it's always a question of who is going to start at corner this season, who is going to be our guy. Well, Howie Roseman said, I'm getting this one. And I'll tell you, this guy is uber confident. He could have transferred to anywhere he wanted. He could have gotten all that NIL money from one of the big schools. He said, I want to finish my career in the MAC and go on to be one of the best players to ever play in this conference. He did. He's a first-round pick. Quinyon Mitchell, I want to see if he can get a little pick six or maybe even just a couple DBUs. This is one of those deals, or PBUs. This is one of those deals where there's a lot of eyes on him this season, and this will be the first time we get to see him in actual live action in the NFL.
We always love when the MAC can puff their chest a little bit when it comes to draft picks. Maction. I told a story earlier this week, Isaiah, about this Qwan'tez Stiggers, who is the third player since '67 to be drafted in the NFL but not have played college football. His story is awesome, but it really sounds like he is hanging within this Jets defense, which is so important because if any defense is going to last, no matter how many games you add to the regular season in the NFL, no matter how deep you get into January, you have to have layers depending on injuries, depending on time spent on the field. And if you can have a guy like Stiggers where you get him in the 5th round, coming out of CFL, he's fresh, he's young. His non-traditional path to the NFL might not look the way you would have thought because he's not coming out of the MAC or he's not coming out of the Pac-12 or Pac-14, or you're going to call it. But whatever. Robert Saleh says that they have an NFL caliber quarterback in this defense. Yet, is he a starting cornerback? And the fact that he even used that phrasing for Qwan'tez Stiggers is fantastic. The story is cool. But if it delivers this weekend, it's going to get even better. And frankly, if he's going to hang with Jaden Daniels for the Commanders, who they're starting at quarterback, that will be really cool as well. There he is wearing the 37. Peter, in the highlight from that Giants game, I wanted to ask you from the Jets to the Giants. I remember Tyrone Tracy from the Combine. He's so charismatic with a really cool story. You must have been pretty impressed with his debut last night.
Yeah, he had 5 carries. He was running the ball well. And I think the big question is who's going to fill in for Saquon? How are they going to fill that hole? Well, we know they signed Motor Singletary, and obviously they've got a couple of these guys, Eric Gray's on the roster. But if you're looking at rookies, you have to love what Tyrone Tracy did. And from what I was hearing at camp, he's been outstanding all season. So Giants fans, we know your team played last night, but Tyrone Tracy out of Purdue, a guy who played wide receiver and then moved to running back and had his family in the crowd while he was working out in Indianapolis at the Combine. That's one of those rookie stories you got to pull for and you got to watch if you're a Giants fan.